Let's look at some news. So there is an online tool to compare AI models, and it charges you for do a lot, but you can do some amount for free. And they tested a whole bunch of ways to tell you which one is most effective, so that sounds perhaps useful. There's all these public AI models people are using for everything. So that may be good. There are some benchmark tools I've tried to use, and most of them have been extremely disappointing. It's currently considered a problem in the AI space that there are no benchmarks that are worth much of anything. So in Romania, the leading presidential candidate was leading in opinion polls at 40% of the vote, so the courts disqualified him and said he can't run. And therefore, people are very upset. And you know, this almost happened here. There were a lot of people tried to remove Trump from the ballot on pretty good constitutional grounds. And if they had, there'd be the same kind of ill feeling. He was a far-right guy, very saying ally of Trump, and people are turning to violence, getting really mad that they wouldn't let him win when he would have won. So I know at the time of the Trump last election, there were people on the left saying we should disqualify Trump. And this was the consideration, that maybe if you do disqualify him, you'll just get in worse trouble. Someone's been locked out of all his machines and calls aren't going through. Well, we'll see if I can figure that out when I get to the second half. Okay. Anyway. Oh, that's Erica. Yes. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, you may have to come in again. Maybe we can make some progress on figuring that out. All right. So people are protesting Tesla like crazy. In fact, one thing I've heard is every time a Cybertruck goes by, people give it the Sieg Heil salute. I've been thinking I should probably start doing that. And they have been putting stickers on them and burning down the Chargers and burning down the Teslas, protests all over the place. So I sympathize with them. And so this is the thing I remember last time from Trump. When Trump was in there, he does many crazy things. They aren't all insane. So it turns out that the people in Greenland are not, in fact, particularly happy with being owned by whoever. It's Denmark. They're not entirely on board with that. There aren't very many of them. They haven't been polled. They're going to have a vote to see if maybe they want to let Trump buy Greenland. And they say they probably aren't going to let Trump buy Greenland, but maybe they'll use this pressure to get independence from Denmark. So anyway, that's the thing. Trump does this crazy stuff, and it's not all completely wrong. Apparently, there is some opinion in Greenland that they shouldn't be controlled by Denmark. So we'll see. However, I haven't noticed any opinion in Canada saying they want to join the U.S. There doesn't seem to be much of that. But
there is also about Scotland.
yeah, Scotland's the same. Scotland keeps trying to break up with the UK. And they've had a couple votes about it, and it hasn't won, but it's been close. Yeah.
It wants to get back into the EU.
Yeah, and so this is City College block and stuff. But anyway, there are these things called iPhone cleaners to make more room on your iPhone. And apparently they're all nasty. They all steal your data and send it back to somebody, so don't use those things. City College, of course, blocks the website. They block a bunch of things. A lot of news sites are blocked here. So this is pretty concerning. This guy is a green card holder, almost an American citizen, and yet he protested against Israel's genocide in Palestine, and so Trump revoked his citizenship and arrested him and is deporting him. So I didn't know that was possible, and it's probably not legal. Like almost everything he's done, it's not legal probably, but
Well, I read that he is targeting universities. For example, he denied the $400 million already destined to Columbia University. So Columbia is losing $400 million
to Columbia?
Because Trump said, you didn't do anything to defend the Israeli students.
Right, because you allowed these protests, yeah.
And so Columbia is just the first, because I think he started.
Yeah, and he may not be able to do that either legally. I mean, this is something many presidents have tried to do, is take money that's been allocated by Congress and then refuse to hand it out. And they don't have that power. It'll go to court. And he probably doesn't have the power to revoke someone's citizenship either, although he wants
But
to.
in the meantime, they still, create,
Yeah. Oh, I see. Erica is going to go see the person that found Pegasus. Well, good. He might be able to help you. She's the one that keeps getting affected on iPhone. She's in the chat. But the guy, Ronald Delbert, the guy who founded Citizen Labs and found Pegasus, is giving a talk. That's interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Very good. I don't know where it
Can
is.
you spread the news to the world?
Yeah, if you put a link, I'll tell other people at that talk they may want to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So, my friend aware of far right things told me about this debanking thing. Apparently, this debanking thing is real. It's something I'd only heard of on the right. But the issue is, banks will refuse to do business with people that do things that they think would harm their reputation, like trading cryptocurrencies. And this reminds me of on the left, there was an issue when they legalized marijuana. The marijuana dealers could not get any banks to work with them. They all said, we're not going to deal with you, you're a dangerous, shady business, even though it was legal. And so they're trying to pass a bill to end the moving people for these reputational risks. And maybe they got a point. I mean, this reminds me of when YouTube was going to ban me for having hacking content, and the other people are going to ban me. If everybody bans you, you can't use the internet. And if they all sort of work together and have a general belief that they'll ban a certain type of person, even if what you're doing is legal, then I guess it makes some sense to complain. So we'll see. This may go somewhere. All right, and so we're now on an international watch list for rapid decline in civic freedoms, which I think is an understatement. Had been saying the oppression of the government is racing ahead very fast here. Aha, here's a link. Eventbrite. Okay, let's see if I can find it on this machine here. Eventbrite, Dibert, Ronald Dibert. An evening with Dibert on Eventbrite, that might be it. Test share listing. An evening with Dibert. Yeah, that's City Lights. Oh yeah, that's San Francisco for sure. That must be it. March 10, today, right now, 1 hour. Well, there's not much time to go.
Where is?
It's downtown, City Lights.
Well, hopefully they will post the talk.
I don't know. I get it, Galpern, yeah. Well, these are pretty impressive people. Yeah. Yeah, that looks like a fun talk. Yep. It's free. You can do Zoom, she says. Oh, there's a Zoom option. That's interesting. I don't see it here. Well, I'll save this link on my news link so people can find it anyway. And I'll put it in the, oh, you already put it in the chat for the online thing. Twitch. Yeah, well, people might want to tune into that. All right. Good to know. All right. And so, anyway, they aren't kidding. They talk about what's going on here and say that what's going on here indicates a decline of civic freedom, which I think is very fair. I would say our treatment of trans people and immigrants would be high in the list of failing of civic rights, but there are probably a lot of other things. And here's some details that come out about the $1.5 billion that North Korea
I
stole.
wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah.
Because the cryptography is involved.
Well, I didn't see much about the cryptography. It seemed like it was just a simple social engineering attack, really.
Social engineering, because I understood that there was this software, this open source software that they were using for the login.
Yeah, the problem is, yeah.
Was that they were able,
Yeah.
with one authorization, to get multiple transactions.
Right. There's two flaws. The tool they're using didn't have two-factor authentication, and it didn't have integration with another tool that kept track of the amount. So you're approving transactions and you can't see the amount.
You're approving transactions, you're going to see the amount.
Yeah, that's right. They used this thing called, they used this amateur free tool. It really is pretty shameful. They used something called, I think, SAFE. They used something that amateurs use. Yeah, SAFE. They used something called SAFE, which is free, but is not secure enough for large amounts. And they used this thing, they had a hardware wallet, which is Ledger, which is the standard hardware cryptocurrency wallet, and that's considered very good. But you can approve transactions out of it, and they did it with SAFE, but SAFE doesn't give you the kind of controls you need. And so he couldn't use the tool to see the full details of the transaction he was approving. So he's approving things without seeing exactly what the transaction he's approving is, which is pretty ridiculous for anybody handling this amount of money.
I I guess the way the other journalist on the article I
Yeah.
read put it, it seemed to, it made it appear that these Korean hackers were, because the absence of cryptography, or encryption or whatever, they were able to, first of all, to do the first login by maneuvering with the cryptography. And then, the rest was a cascading effect.
Yeah, after that, they had to launder it, and they were pretty good at that. They're well practiced at that. But apparently, it was mainly just a social engineering attack. They tricked him into approving it. I think they did manage to inject some JavaScript in his browser or something to change what he saw. But anyway, they seem to have just been extremely sloppy, which is what's the problem with all these crypto things. They're not like real banks. They don't have real regulation. They don't have real.
These are kids.
Just like Elon Musk's Doge, it's just a bunch of teenagers that think they're smart running a bank, and they aren't careful enough. They don't understand how careful you really have to be when you're handling large amounts of money.
All those kids are hired, they have a contract, they will get in trouble if they do something. Musk
Yeah.
doesn't have an official position, he would save his kid.
Yeah, and you couldn't even get that position without having credentials and experience, and you would have oversight, and you would have legal regulations and lawyers involved. You'd have all that stuff, and there's a reason you have all that stuff in banks, because people keep stealing the money, and you have to have all these controls. And they're just treating it like a tech problem, and it's not just a tech problem. Anyway, I think that's enough of this. Let me